All right, so it's getting close to my birthday. Natalie wants to see me for my birthday. So how would you like to have a picnic for my birthday? She said I would love to. She's been trying to have one-on-one conversation with me almost since I got there, and has been apologizing almost nonstop because it hasn't happened. I'm there because I don't want her to kill herself. Meanwhile, I'm trying to battle those own emotions of my own. She's like, Sean, when she came and rescued me in 2016, like she had told me, Sean, I was going to kill myself 100 times. Thinking of you was the only reason that I didn't. That's what she said the day that I was going to kill myself with 37 Vicodin. Pretty heavy thing to lay on someone. When she told me if I wasn't already on the road, she was going to kill. That's a pretty heavy thing to lay on someone. And we're friends of mutual benefit. It's got nothing to do with sex, got nothing to do with gender. It's got to do with decency and mutual understanding from mutual experiences. So, Alicia, she tells me that she got a phone and she'll pay to have it transferred over. Instead of me spending 35 bucks on a phone card for my flip phone, she's going to pay the $10 for me to have that number changed over to this new smartphone that she got for me. I'm fucking so excited. I'm like, all right, I'll get the smartphone. You're going to show me how to use it, right? She's like, yeah, I promise. I'll show you how to use it. And so we get it all set up, and it's a pain in the ass. It takes 4 hours for us to get this done. And that's when she finally shows me the phone that she's changed my number over to. And it's now, instead of being in my name, it's in Alicia's name. And it's fucking smashed to shit. Holy fuck. This phone right here, this phone right here, look how cracked it is. This phone looks good by comparison with that HTC with the blue trim. Turned out it was Natalie's old telephone. There's a reason that she wasn't using it. Her new phone that she had also had issues. Why was she using a phone with issues if this phone is so great? Well, because this phone has even worse issues than her new phone. Alicia didn't tell me that. Natalie didn't even know that that Alicia gave me her old phone. 10 minutes after she gets it all changed over into her name and gets the number from my old phone from Cricket and applies that Cricket phone number to, or the Net 10 phone number to Cricket, and it's all said and done. And she's so frustrated. I mean, she's almost coming to tears a couple times. And I'm telling her that's how everything in my life goes, young lady. Nothing's easy in my life. Nothing. She quit her job 10 minutes after giving me that phone and never showed me how to use it. Meanwhile, she used to let me know when she was going on a cigarette break. I mean, I'm only 2 doors down from her at the Starbucks, where her boyfriend works, where she asked me to go. So every day that she's at work, when she has a cigarette break or goes out for lunch, she invites me over. She buys me lunch. Is this something you're going to do for somebody who's stalking you? This is during this time that I'm supposedly stalking them. Well, that phone ended up being hell. That phone destroyed every portion of both of our lives. I hate texting. So it's almost my birthday, and I'm hurting a lot. I've gone to labor ready. I got some money. I put it in this gas. I'm down to my last 20 bucks though, and I'm saving that for a picnic with Natalie. Um, Natalie wants me to come over between 9 and 11 in the morning. I can't remember. over to her mom's house. Yes, she invited me to her mom's house finally for my birthday. I was supposed to pick her up or hang out there, whichever one she wanted to do. I didn't want to be in a vehicle, and neither did she. So a couple days before that, when she's bugging me to get me something for my birthday, she's in a lot of pain. She was just in a car accident with another suitor who thought he was in love with her, got all fucked up on alcohol, and did some really fucked up shit to her. Fucked up shit that I never would have done. Now, while this is going on, I'm I'm already freaked out. She was in a car accident just 2 days earlier from that during Hurricane Matthew. She got into a car accident with her sister. It was a hit and run. She was in a lot of fucking accidents. She didn't want to be in a car, neither did I. I'd been living in my fucking car the whole time I was in fucking Virginia, and by this point, it was about 2 weeks of me being in Virginia. And I was still staying behind the Cricket store, even though Alicia didn't work there anymore, because the Starbucks was still there. And I liked Starbucks policies, although some of their employees twist those policies in ways they shouldn't. Just because you're a Starbucks employee doesn't mean you don't have bias. There are plenty of gay people that don't like homeless people, plenty of black people and white people and men and women and Christians and Muslims and all sorts of stuff that just don't like homeless people. You just got to come to accept it. So my birthday rolls around, right? I've already got this telephone from Alicia, and I'm already having problems with it. I'm typing ducking, and I'm fucking pissed off that it just keeps typing ducking. And about this time is when I was having that argument with Miss Jerry and fucking all of them, and it carried over onto my new phone too. And the stuff that I was arguing with these people, some of them, like those racist assholes, are so fucking ignorant. They couldn't even spell the N word right. But Tyler gave them my phone number. They were harassing me, and I was arguing with them on that telephone. I wouldn't have had that problem on the computer. But I didn't always have access to the computer. The computer would die very quickly. I had about 30 minutes worth of use most of the time, unless I really set the lights down. I could get more use out of it, but I couldn't see the thing. And it had just been an absolute wonderful time. I had literally never had a problem with Alicia or Natalie, not even once. When they were little kids, I had problems with them. Yeah, you need to go the fuck away. This ain't the place for you, little girl. And they both liked that. I mean, our messages proved that. Our messages proved that while I was supposedly stalking them, we're friends the whole fucking time. They're both telling me they love me. They're both trying to get me to work at Vico Construction. They're trying to get me to move there to Virginia. They're actually apartment shopping for me without my permission. They didn't ask me first. They just assumed. They wanted me to move there, and they wanted Miss Shelley to move there too. So she and her kids would be safe from dead. So I don't have much money. I got this phone that's not working right. It's not texting right, and it doesn't have all of the messed up stuff programmed into it yet. I've only had it a couple of days. I mean, it really does take a while for me to have those arguments with those people. And the phone is so fucked up. One of the cracks is right over the send button and right over the call button. And whoever it is that you call last, that's who it's going to call. There's not a goddamn thing you can do about that except turn off the telephone, which I did. Now, I'm having a severe fucking panic attack. My entire support network is gone. Natalie is not able to spend much time, and she's not feeling very good, so I feel like shit for being there. And I brought her by the wheelchair, of course, so that she would have that. Um, well, the last time that I saw Natalie was on my birthday in 2016 while I was in Virginia. The way that day started off is that I drove over to the McDonald's over by where she lived so that I was close enough in the morning to go see her and wouldn't have to deal with all the traffic. I preferred driving at night. And she was aware of this. We messaged this back and forth. These were all plans that we made and plans that I've proven time and again. I've posted that evidence, her messages to me. I posted it. After she died with everybody fucking slandering my name and twisting shit in ways that it wasn't. Yeah, I did my best with the resources I had and the resources that I had available and my tiny bit of technical knowledge. I mean, it weren't easy. But it's my birthday, and Natalie is insistent that I come over and see her. She will not have it any other way. It's her insisting that I come see her on my birthday, and I absolutely did at her request again, by the way. The problem is, without getting Alicia in court, Alicia knows these things are all true. I just got to get her to say it in court. I just got to get her to fucking admit it. They misled the situation by omitting the fact that they invited me and asked me to do all of these things, asked me to go to all of these places. I was punished for doing as I was asked. And I was afraid of Natalie killing herself. I mean, I literally didn't go back into the bathroom and eat those Vicodin on that day months earlier because I didn't want her to kill herself. I literally didn't kill myself because I didn't want Natalie to be that alone that she would kill herself, that she wouldn't have a friend anywhere. Most of her friends were only after her panties anyway, male and female. I wasn't like that, ever. So, on my birthday, it's really fucking hot. They just redid the blacktop in the McDonald's parking lot, and I'm wanting to save the money so that we can get sandwiches and something to drink, and I'll take it over to her house when it's time for the picnic. So she gets a hold of me, and Alicia gets a hold of me first. She's like, "So it's your birthday, I want to come hang out with you guys." Well, I was really wanting to have a one-on-one conversation with Natalie. I'm fine with hanging out later on, but let us have just a few minutes to have a conversation. And it would have been about a 5-minute conversation at that point on my end. And Natalie had a lot that she wanted to say. So I don't know how long that would have taken. That was pretty early in the morning. And Natalie got a hold of me and said, Alicia really wants to come. I told her, but, she really wants to come. I'm like, oh, all we're doing is having a picnic. Well, no, they wanted to do something special for me. So they got road construction outside of their house. Natalie's letting me know, well, you can't come by quite yet. We got road construction. I'll let you know when it's clear. Probably about, I want to say 6 o'clock or so, she lets me know that I can come pick her and her sister up. Train. Her brother is out in the yard with them, and they get in. Alicia's gonna drive. She knows the area, and I cleaned up my vehicle as best I could. Clorox wipes and all that shit. And Natalie had to sit on my lap. And we, of course, wore our seatbelt, but I was fucking paranoid. I mean, Natalie is a fucking magnet for wrecks. So, and my brakes, they're they're not perfect. I mean, Rory put them on, but there's other stuff that's fucked up with that car, and it always wants to pull heavy to one side. And there was a pre-existing condition that was life-threatening with that vehicle that Laura and David Nelson didn't tell me about, and that had come across later in the story. So, I messaged her a couple times that I'm severely dehydrated. I probably lost 10 pounds in sweat. I'm fucking starting to get woozy and not know what the fuck's going on at this point. I've probably puked a couple times. I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 even. I'm not sure. It was just hot as fuck, and I was spending some of my money in McDonald's to make sure that I was a customer and didn't get kicked out and all that. But I basically had to wait there in the hot sun in a black vehicle in the fucking Virginia and fucking McDonald's parking lot. Blacktop. I mean, it's freshly tarred over. It's black, you know. And so by the time I got there, I was pretty severely dehydrated, and I was pretty out of it. Me, Natalie, and Alicia, still at this point, we've never had a problem. Um, Alicia started acting a little bit weird, and that's because like we were spending a lot of time together on her lunch breaks and her cigarette breaks after work, and I was like, I'm here to see Natalie, I didn't want to explain the whole situation to Alicia, and I just assumed Alicia knew everything. That was probably my biggest mistake, just assuming that Alicia already knew everything. Well, Alicia's got a bit of a jealous streak. She's the popular one. Anytime that Natalie was getting attention from me, she was really fighting hard for it. And that really was weirding me out. So on my birthday, Alicia, they finally, it was around 6 o'clock. Her brother's out in the yard, and he says to make sure nothing happens to him, keep him safe, whatever. And every time that Alicia puts on the brakes, her car gets too close. Like I'm literally putting my hand on the dash and pulling Natalie in so that we don't get into a fucking car accident. And simultaneously, while I'm doing this, Alicia is putting her arm across too. I mean, if we get into a car accident, Natalie is the safest fucking person in the vehicle. She has more human padding than anyone else. I mean, she's not going through a fucking window. And they're taking me to a place called Elliot's Coffee Grounds. Their request. Meanwhile, this is while I'm supposedly stalking them still. They take me to Elliot's Coffee Grounds, which obviously isn't my idea. I didn't know it fucking existed. This was actually Alicia's idea. And we get there, and we got some drawing stuff or whatever, and we get to drawing and talking a little bit, and Alicia's got to be the center of attention. And we're talking about that car accident that Natalie got into, and when she was in the car accident, all I was doing was sitting in my fucking vehicle, wishing I had something to do because the rest of my support network is gone, or I don't have the money to actually go see them. I can't afford to drive all the way to Chicago at this point. I got $20. So, Joanne Taylor Smith, she's able to secure the tattoo machine, and she's going to send it to Natalie's house. And there's 8 tattoo machines with it all together and 2 power units. And I plan on splitting it half and half as far as the power machines and everything go between me, Natalie, and Alicia. And I'm going to take the tattoo machines and I'm going to split them up among a couple other people that I know who are artists and want to do tattoos. And I'm fucking totally into this. And Sage is going to send me some birthday money to Natalie and Alicia's. And he did, as well as an old telephone of his, because, I had just had the new telephone a couple of days. And he'd already sent the old ones, and a birthday card, and some money. And that did make it to Natalie and Alicia's. But not until the incident in the middle of the road. So we'll get to that part. We'll finish up the birthday thing though. So on my birthday, we're talking about the car accident, and Alicia is making sure that everything is focused on her as always. And when Alicia goes to the bathroom real quick, Natalie tells me, "I'm sorry about all of this. I'm sorry that my leg's fucked up because she has to come here with us all the time, and she has to go everywhere with us because I can't drive and so on and so forth." And I'm like, that's all right. It's not a big thing. We got plenty of time. I was wrong. She told me that her and Alicia had been fighting over a boy, and I don't know who that was. At this point, it doesn't really matter, I suppose. But with the way that Alicia was interacting with me and the way that she was getting jealous because she was getting all of my attention. Alicia Bollinger was getting all of the attention at that point. Natalie wasn't really getting any except in text messages, and Alicia was acting as if she was offended that I would want to even spend time with Natalie instead of her. And on my birthday, that kind of was a pretty fucked up situation. So I drew a picture of a tree, and Natalie drew a picture of a beard, and we had a decent conversation. Sort of, because it was only about 5 minutes before Alicia came back, and then she had something else that she needed to do. I don't remember what it was. Go get a pack of cigarettes or something. And during that point in time, there was a gentleman there who was, there by himself, and he was really, really needing some attention, and he wanted to strike a conversation up with a pretty lady. So we didn't get to have a conversation at that point. It ended up being her trying to help out this dude. You're gonna have to go back to the videos, dude who calls himself someone here. Says, "How did you come to meet Natalie Bollinger?" I've explained that 1,000 times. I'm trying to tell this story as well as I can in sequence. So go back to the beginning, please. Thank you so much. So it's getting 7:30, somewhere around there. I mean, we hadn't been there very long. We were planning on staying out pretty late, about 11. But Natalie's mom messages her, and apparently her mom found her heroin, and she was in trouble and had to go home immediately. They didn't go home immediately. Natalie had said something about, how she should try the lottery with her luck after all the car accidents. Yeah, we can do that. We went to Wendy's and we got some food, and we went over to this little grocery store. While we were at that grocery store, Alicia ran inside to go get some lottery tickets. She came out with some scratch tickets. I thought it was funny. And although I was down to about, I want to say I had about $10 at that point, but they bought me dinner. It was my birthday, and they were insisting on that. And Alicia gave me that leather guitar-shaped key fob. It's kind of funny that Natalie, had a dream that I was a guitar case. That, she was afraid that I was afraid to be seen with her, and I would turn into a guitar case. No, no. Natalie ended up being the guitar case. By this point, my phone's really not working right, and I'm still arguing with these assholes, and I probably shouldn't have been, but they were getting a hold of me and fucking harassing me. I mean, fuck it. Yeah, I'll fucking argue back with you, little fucking pipsqueak ass. You want to fucking type racist bullshit at me? Fuck yeah, I'll argue with you. Colin Kaepernick is a fucking hero. Kiss my ass. So, at this point, this is when you start to see the difference between what's being typed on my telephone and what's being typed on my computer. The reason for this is because the stuff that is typed from the HTC telephone, it's all busted to shit that I got from Natalie. It's not working right. It's sending whatever the fuck it wants. It's auto-correcting into stuff that I sent to other people, sometimes in full sentences, and it's just transposing itself and sending itself. And, we were able to get Natalie and, her sister back home, and all right, I already ran out one opossum. That sound is another opossum. Maybe there's a hole there big enough for him to get in. Uh, well, anyway, the day after my birthday, Alicia Volunteer sent me one message, and Natalie sent me one message asking me how I was doing. I responded. They never responded back. Next day, same thing. Someone you might end up watching hundreds of hours worth. The very first one out of these 3 videos, this one's the third one. There was one before this and one before that. If you go back to the very first one, it'll explain how I met her. Anyway, so while I'm in Virginia, I'm suicidal, and Natalie's suicidal, and we're both trying to contend with this. My only relief is really Natalie and Alicia, and Natalie's only relief is me. And she's telling me this often, okay? Often, like daily often. So I want to say it was the second day. I texted a couple of times, and mind you, during this time, I'm turning off my phone because it's doing stuff at random, and it's been doing the whole calling people thing since I first got it. Natalie, you can call her telephone, but her voicemail is always full, so you can't leave a message. Just how it was, one of them things. And I've got this phone that isn't working, it's cracked to shit, and I'm having a panic attack. I'm severely dehydrated. I'm behind the Cricket store still, but there's nobody that I know working at the Cricket store. The only people I really know in the area is people that work at Starbucks, and they were wonderful. The people at the Starbucks at the mall there in Chesapeake, Virginia, they were absolutely wonderful. They were great. Even Alicia's boyfriend, who Natalie didn't like at all. She said he's a nice enough guy, he's just not good for Alicia. One of the selling points that made it so that I was willing to get the telephone is that it had GPS. Natalie and Alicia both had to use GPS in order to find their way around Virginia with the fucking roads there, and they grew up there, partially. And they'd been there a few months already, and they still got lost all the time to use their GPS. So on my birthday, Alicia's boyfriend and one of the other Starbucks employees had helped me to figure out how to use the GPS on my phone. And it took 5 or 6 hours, I want to say. So it's been a couple of days, and each one of them sent me one message, and they were pretty busy. They later let me know that it was because they were busy getting drunk on the roof and reminiscing about old times, which is okay. And she had gone to the zoo and stuff like that with her family, which is perfectly all right. But I was having a fucking meltdown. It's not Natalie's fault. It's not Alicia's fault. It's the environment that I was in. I'm stuck in my car, too injured to move. I mean, I fucked myself up picking up all that wet stuff from labor ready with a fucked up back. Yeah, that fucking screwed me up good. Meanwhile, I'm severely dehydrated. My phone's doing its own thing, and a couple of times I forget to even turn it off, and that's where the major issues happen. Because that second day, I had texted her a couple, I I want to say 2 or 3 messages to Alicia, and I want to say maybe 2 or 3 messages to Natalie. And I tried to call them each once. I was really freaking out. I didn't have anyone to talk to, and I was stuck behind that fucking store. Couldn't even get out of my fucking car. I'm fucking freaking out, and I can't sleep. I lost a whole bunch of people that I cared about. A whole bunch of people fucking died, and a whole bunch of people turned out to be fucking assholes who fucking lied out their asses to me. I'm really fucking stressed out. Meanwhile, I'm worried about Natalie because fucking her mom found her heroin. She's still on heroin. Holy shit. Oh my God. And her sister had made a few fucking remarks, probably close to a dozen remarks about me dating her sister, me dating her sister. Would I ever? Would I ever? Why do you keep asking that, Alicia? No, I'm not interested in dating your sister. I won't have sex with somebody who I feel sorry for, and I'm not going to mess with anyone who's intoxicated. And she is fucked up. This is before my birthday that we had this conversation because she still worked at the cricket store. Um, and Alicia told me, Sean, all you need is love. She was absolutely right. But I didn't get that love. Matter of fact, their bad assumptions and them trying to hide the things from their parents resulted in making sure that I couldn't see my loved ones without being abused. But we'll get to that in a bit. So I don't really sleep well when I'm having a fucking meltdown or a panic attack, especially when I got nobody to talk to. I'm just stuck there for days on end. And you can go back to my messages at that point in time on Facebook, and you can see which ones I was typing on the phone and which ones were when I had a computer, because they come out completely different. The ones with the computer are pretty concise. The ones with the telephone are all over the fucking place. I mean, so I leave it on one night. I'm fucking tired. I'm not sleeping. I'm laying on top of the telephone. I don't know what the fuck it's doing. Well, come to find out, it made a whole fucking shit ton of phone calls to the last phone number that I called. And the last phone number that I called was Natalie's phone number. Fuck! Oh my God. So now I'm trying to text Natalie to explain to her what's happening. My phone is fucked up. And it won't even allow me to type the word phone. It's putting curse words. It's not putting ducking, I'll tell you that. And, I'm fucking overwhelmed. This is a gift from Alicia for my birthday. I should have looked that gift horse in the mouth. And Alicia, she starts sending me some mean messages. I'm like, fuck, I'm having a severe panic attack. I am fucking freaking out like you wouldn't believe. I'm like, oh my God, please don't think fucked up shit because you are so wrong. I am fucking freaking out because I'm fucking stranded here now and I don't know anybody else other than you two. You are, oh my God, but you can't explain that to them when the phone wants to do its own goddamn thing because it's broke to shit. So, Alicia is being a fucking complete and total bitch, but Natalie wants to meet me on Monday. Meanwhile, I didn't make it to Monday after 5 days with no sleep and fucking having a severe panic attack and not having anyone to talk to. And I'm fucking stuck thinking about all the dead people and all of the people that fucking ran away and did fucked up shit, and how fucked up it is that Natalie and Alicia are my entire support network. And, they're 18. They shouldn't have to fucking deal with that. Meanwhile, I'm dealing with it for them. So, probably about 6 o'clock in the morning or so, and Alicia was extremely mean to me the night before, and I'd sent a text message and it was fucking wrong, So I tried to type it again, and I typed way too fucking long. The longer I type, the more fucked up it is, and a lot of it, I'm not, watching to see if it's correcting. I'm watching to see which buttons that I'm pressing because I'm not a fast texter. especially on a new phone. And so I press send, and then I noticed that 90% of the shit that I typed has been fucking auto corrected into something else. So I'm fucking freaking out. So I type her another message, try to explain it, and it's fucked up too. So I type an even longer one because I'm fucking freaking out, and I really need to understand if this fucking phone isn't working, and I need it to fucking work. I'm fucking stranded. I'm freaking out, and I'm sorry. And no, it's not fucking working. And I'm trying to get a hold of Natalie, and I'm not turning off my phone because I'm hoping one of them will call me back. So I'm leaving it on, and I'm setting it on the dash, and it's fucking calling them. Why is it fucking calling them? I'm fucking hanging up. I'm like, fucking don't call them. Don't fucking bug them. Phone, leave them alone. And Alicia told me she was gonna see me on Monday, but that was a few days away. I hadn't seen it. I was severely dehydrated. I was freaking out. I needed help, and I was afraid to go to the cops or go to the ambulances because I already know the way that people like me are treated. They lock us up and drug us, or they tell us we got to do it on our own. Tell us to go to therapy and tell us all sorts of shit. I'm dehydrated, motherfucker. All right, I need to be treated for dehydration first and foremost. I should have been treated for dehydration on my birthday, and I continued to get more dehydrated in those 5 days. And so I go over to Natalie and Alicia's. It's about, I want to say it's about 7 in the morning because I didn't want to show up there at 4 a.m. And I was really freaking out. I didn't want to use my phone because everything was fucking coming out wrong, and there wasn't a goddamn thing I could do about it. And I needed to explain to him, especially with Alicia sending the mean shit that she was fucking sending me over the phone that she gave me. And here's another thing about that phone. Alicia didn't tell Natalie that she gave me Natalie's old phone. She didn't tell me that it was Natalie's old phone. Natalie told me. No, actually, I think Alicia did tell me it was Natalie's old phone. I got to take that back. And Natalie got this mortified look on her face, like, oh my God, does Sean know what's in that phone? Does Sean know how fucked up that phone is? I hope it was erased before he got my old phone. She looked fucking terrified. But when Alicia explained they erased it, put my number on it, and everything was okay, well, she was glad I had a better telephone. But when I drove to her house, I was using that GPS, and it told me I typed in her mom's address, that's where she was living. I had to explain to her how fucked up that phone was and how fucked up the situation was, and that I'm having a meltdown. I need your help. I just need you to understand. That's literally all I need you to do is understand. We've been trying to have this conversation since I got here 3 weeks ago, and we haven't been able to. And I'm having to deal with a bunch of people's fucked up assumptions, and I'm fucking stranded somewhere that I'm not familiar with, and fucking holy shit. And the GPS tells me to make a U-turn. So made a U-turn. Well, this is the phone meant for me to make a U-turn down at the end of the block, but I haven't slept in a few days. I'm severely dehydrated and fucking freaking out. My brain is barely functioning. And I go to make that U-turn, and instead of making the U-turn, like I said, the road construction, I get stuck between two road cones. My fucking car is stuck. It won't go anywhere, and my steering wheel is free floating. This is that problem that David and Laura Nelson didn't let me know about that could have gotten us killed. If that had happened on our way to Elliot's Coffee Grounds or on our way to, actually, that was the only trip we took in my car. The rest of the time, it was Alicia's car. So, when I first got there, it wasn't Alicia's car because she got a Volkswagen Beetle while I was there. The first car was basically a rental car. It was a borrower. I was there when she got her cream-colored Volkswagen Beetle. with a drop top that didn't work. She was pretty pissed. But, some pretty white girl shit there. It really is. So, I'm stuck between these two road cones, and I'm severely dehydrated, and I need help, and fucking, I'm stuck. I can't pull into the driveway or pull anywhere. I'm stuck in the fucking road. I'm fucking stuck. I can't go anywhere. And vehicle drives by me, and I don't even see this vehicle. I just hear a fucking honk when it's right behind me and scares the living shit out of me. They had to weave through road cones to get away around me. This is on South Military Highway. There's 2 lanes going each way, and I'm stuck on the 2 lanes that are closest to Natalie and Alicia's house. One of them only part way, and the other one fully. So people are going around me back ways. And after that, that fucking scared the living shit out of me. At that point, I'm not worried about this telephone. I'm worried about a family of 6 in a minivan coming around that blind corner and fucking slamming into me. And it's a slow corner, but when you're driving the speed limit, or some people like to drive a little faster, yeah, there was a definite chance of someone cramming into me. So I kept my eyes forward on the house. I was scared shitless. I mean, just seeing that house after trying to make that U-turn, freaking, oh my God, that just scared the hell out of me just seeing the house. I'm like, this is not what I was expecting. I'm fucking stuck. So I was honking my horn so that nobody would run into me. And I was staring at the house, keeping my eyes forward. I didn't want to look that way. If someone was going to run into me and fucking kill me, I didn't want to see it coming. Alicia had messaged me something to the effect of, what are you doing? But I had to see that a little later. So, her mom comes out of the house. I'm dehydrated, having a fucking meltdown. Fucking my phone isn't working. My fucking vehicle isn't working, and I'm fucking scared shitless. I got fucking traffic that's coming. I don't want to get careened by it. So I'm fucking staring at the house, and she mouths the words, "I'm calling the cops." And at that point in time, she was my fucking hero. Rose M. Kelly, at that point in time, was my fucking hero. I needed help. I was fucking stuck. Not just stuck in Virginia. Now I'm stuck in the fucking road outside of her fucking house. I was there for probably 15 minutes honking my fucking horn. I honked it so long that it fucking died twice. I had to stop honking and start honking again. And so the police finally get there, and they have me get out of my vehicle, and I start trying to explain what's going on. And of course, they put me in cuffs and take me back to their vehicle. They're not actually arresting me. They're telling me that I'm not under arrest. I've explained to them what's going on with the fucking, I'm dehydrated and I'm stuck. I came to her to explain to Natalie what's going on with this, and, you know. So I'm in the back of the vehicle. I'm in there by myself. They've got the screen up, and it says that that there is a man stalking a male resident of that address, Natalie's mother's address. And right there, I mean, I saw everything that's happened since flashed before my eyes. I knew that if anything happened to Natalie, who was extremely high risk, her drug use, her family history, her legal history, her history of ex boyfriends and their abuse. Yeah, she was extremely high risk. She was small. She was tiny and she was pretty. And, everybody had a crush on him. Maddie Boa had already had a lesbian relationship with Alicia. The reason she wanted to go with me to Virginia is because she wanted the set. That's how she put it. She wanted the set. But me and Maddie have not had a problem by this point. By this point, me and Alicia and Natalie, we haven't had any problems at all before this, with the exception of the issues with my telephone. And now I'm dealing with their bad assumptions. I was like, they're probably gonna think all sorts of fucked up shit after this. I'd like to be able to explain it to them, but if they're afraid of me and they don't want to. It's fine. I'll go back to Colorado. I'll go see Maddie and try to help her out a little bit. She's having problems too, and I care about her as well. So the officer comes back to the vehicle. He tells me they're taking me to the hospital. And I said, dude, the hospital isn't really going to help me. I'm homeless. I'm stranded here. And I started explaining to him the story and about how I was afraid that my vehicle was going to get towed. He's like, no, it's fine where it's at. We're taking you to the hospital. We're going to get you checked out. I got to the hospital. They basically tried to suicide hold me. They had a mental health therapist lady come in, and I explained to her about the telephone. I explained to her about losing my friends, about the Natalie's heroin, about the tattoo equipment that was supposed to be coming, and now I'm afraid I won't get that tattoo equipment. I'm afraid I won't be able to use that. I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to get that money from Sage, which I'm hoping will show up because I can get somewhere with it. And I'm explaining to her about the whole situation and getting stuck in the road. I didn't break the law. Out of all of that bullshit, none of it was against the law. Not even one little bit. None of it. It was a fucked up situation that got blown completely out of proportion. Starting with when train all the issues started on my birthday. All of them. It was after I got that telephone. But the stuff that Elliot's coffee grounds and all that, that was pretty much where it all went to hell. And it was a great time. I mean, all of those would be wonderful memories. They would be if it weren't for all the shit that happened after that. So the cops ended up busting up my vehicle. The therapist said I was free to go. They finally gave me my phone back. They diagnosed me with diabetes mellitus just from looking at my feet. I had boot rot. Okay, it was fucking sweaty as a motherfucker up there. All I had was one pair of fucking shoes, and I was sweating in them all the time. Yeah, dude, I got boot rot. Okay, fucking, it's not diabetes. These aren't diabetic ulcers on my feet. This is my feet eating themselves from all of the salt and all the sweating. They also treated me with 2 bags of 0.9% salt. Here in, this area, you get maybe 0.2% saline solution. 0.9 is quite a bit, and they gave me 2 bags of it. The police, they didn't stick around. They just dropped me off and left. I told them, if you're going to do that, they're gonna review me real quick. They're gonna give me a fucking piece of paper, and then they're gonna throw me out the door. You know. Now at this point, I'm already scared enough because all I have is my vehicle to live in. They let me out of the hospital. It's late at night. It's cold as fuck. I don't have my charger. I can't charge my telephone. I can't fucking do shit. You know. And this list of resources is the closest one is like 8 miles away. Are you fucking kidding me? And they wanted to set me up with an appointment with a mental health person. And they might have actually helped me out at that point. Here's why I didn't go to these mental health appointments in Chesapeake, Virginia. They wanted me to go to one in like 4 or 5 days, something like that. I was focused on trying to get my vehicle out. That was first and foremost. And there was a gentleman at Food Lion who helped me out, bought me some food, bought me a phone charger, and showed me where at the building that I could plug it in. Said, "You're not allowed to plug in here, but you have my permission." And he was so cool, you know. And I was trying to get a hold of Alex Furman and Brandon Ratner and Brenda Dickinson and all these other people to try to get the money to get my vehicle out because it had been towed. I had told the officers just to leave it where it was at when I was at Natalie's house. I was like, "Are you guys going to tow it?" He told me, "No, it's going to be fine. We'll leave it outside your friend's house and they'll watch it for you." I'm like, "But what if they don't? What if they tow it?" He's like, "Well, if they tow it, I'll fucking get it out for you." And roundabout, he did. It turned out that my insurance got it out for me. But, between me and Aunt B and that officer after I got out of the hospital and had to spend almost a full day out there fucking with no resources and shit. But I did get my car back. And when I got to my car, it was broken as fuck. They had fucked it up worse than it was. Now my rear hatch wouldn't fucking close or wouldn't stay open. They broke a few pieces of my vehicle. But in the process, that steering wheel issue somehow magically fixed itself well enough for me to make it all the way back to Colorado, by the way. And because when I inspected it later, I noticed that there was some chalky white dust. My belief is that while they were manhandling my vehicle, a piece of quartz or something like that got it stuck in between the splines. There's basically these cutouts on the steering column, and then there's the cutouts on the brackets, so they'll mesh together and they'll hold together. And I think a rock got stuck in there, and just one tiny rock was the difference between me being able to drive my vehicle and me going out of control and fucking killing somebody on the interstate because David and Lauren Nelson didn't tell me this is a problem that existed with the vehicle. They did later, though, because I had that problem again. So we get my vehicle out, and I'm fucking livid. I'm calling up, trying to find out which officers were there, which officers fucked up my vehicle, and I'm getting a hold of the tow lot. Like, did you guys fuck it up? Was there any point in time where there was no cops and my vehicle was unsupervised? Nope, the cops were there the whole time. The only people who touched your vehicle other than us towing it was the police officers. We didn't break your vehicle. We didn't even open it up. So I called their office. Meanwhile, I had texted one message to Natalie and one to Alicia, letting them know I'm sorry about what happened. If your parents or if you guys are afraid of me, I understand. If you're afraid of me, just let me know and I'll never contact you again. And so I'm on the phone with the police, and they're playing fucking stupid because I'm trying to turn in a police officer. All of them do this. They either play stupid or they tell you that you need to inform the guy who's going to cover for him. The guy who's going to break the law to hide the fact that those officers broke the law by breaking my vehicle in the fashion that they did. But I finally make it out of there. I'm thinking about going to this mental health appointment and hoping Natalie is understanding of the situation and, that hopefully they'll fucking help me out. She knew I was autistic and so did Maddie. I don't know if Alicia knew or not, but Natalie knew and Maddie Bowen knew. At this point, I'm still friends with Maddie Boa, so far as I know. I'm sorry, it gives me a lot of anxiety to tell this story. So them fighting over a boy that's not my fault. Them being still strung out on heroin and meth, that's not my fault. her breaking her leg in that car accident. Yeah, that's kind of my fault. When you tell somebody you're gonna do something, you should probably do it. You know, if I'd have gone there when me and Maddie Bow were supposed to leave, you know, I'd have been there months earlier. She would have had a little bit of a support network. I didn't. My whole support network fell apart before I even got there, you know. And I'm worried about Jamie and her son. They're still living in the same town as James, you know. I mean, fucking who wouldn't? Jamie's son is my favorite person on the whole fucking planet. So, when Natalie texted me back, she got hold of me on Alicia's phone. She messaged me, "Hey, this is Natalie," or called me. Sorry, she said, "Hey, this is Natalie. Um, I love you, Sean, but my family is scared of you, so never talk to me again." And I was fine with that. I went, you know what? I'm not going to that appointment. I don't have a support network here. You know, I got to go back to where my friends are, but at least I have a vehicle now, so I'll be able to walk more than a block. Boy, was I wrong. The money people had sent me to get my vehicle back out because I was pretty sure the cops weren't actually going to keep their word to do that. And B had sent me some money, and Alex Furman and Brandon Ratner was going to try to. And I ended up using that money to leave Chesapeake, Virginia, and drive 1,700 miles to get away from Natalie and Alicia. To let them have the whole state to themselves so them and these don't have to be afraid. And on more than one occasion, I typed that to Brett Roloff because he wanted me to go visit North Carolina. And I felt that it was too close to Natalie's family. I didn't want them to be afraid. The conversations between Brett Roloff and I are on here. Verify that. So do our text messages. So does our Facebook Messenger. So I decide I'm just gonna get in my vehicle and leave. I got enough money to get back to Boulder at least. I thought I did. I was wrong. I was wrong. I almost made it out of state. Tried to get a hold of Maddie Boa to let her know that things went pretty fucked up. Natalie was still on heroin and fucking that everything was hell. But as soon as I called her, she's like, you know what? Fucking Alicia called me, fucking told me that you threatened her fucking family, and you know you're a fucking creepy person. Fucking that's some creeper shit. Holy fuck, you know. She said Natalie or Alicia told her that I had threatened her family, which I didn't. I was stuck in the fucking road, dehydrated with a busted phone, freaking out. So my phone was still on Alicia's name. And well, with me not talking to Natalie or Alicia, I couldn't very well get it changed over into my name, could I? I couldn't very well pay the bills with it in someone else's name, could I? And I didn't have any money. By the time I got to the McDonald's at the very end of Kansas, I still needed money to make it all the way to Boulder. And thank goodness somebody at the McDonald's donated me some money. I was able to make it to Boulder. Now, mind you, I've already lost one friend over Natalie and Alicia's slander at this point. That's Matty Boa. And Case Leighton Morris, he was in contact with me pretty much this whole time. And he remained in contact with me and didn't keep his word to come see me like he said he was gonna, but he kept in correspondence with me. And well, he unfriended me and blocked me the day that Natalie disappeared. What a swell feller. But we're not to that point in the story yet, are we? We're at over a year before Natalie's killed. So we'll stick to that part. I call Aunt B, and she's willing to help me out. She's real apologetic. She's real sorry that things didn't go well in Virginia. And I let her know it's not your fault, and it's not. It wasn't Natalie's fault that people were assaulting me. She didn't know that that was going to happen. It wasn't something that entered her mind. You know, she was just worried about getting in trouble with her mom. I get that. I really do. But when they were assaulting me, like as soon as I got back to Boulder, I was fucking excited. I was back in Boulder. I was fucking back home. I had a vehicle. I could walk more than a block. I could finally see my friends who I haven't been able to go visit for over a year. I'm able to go see them now. Because remember, I had hurt my back, and my friends basically had forgotten about me on October 18th of 2015 on my birthday, moving that fucking lathe. And when I was in Virginia, the last time that I saw Natalie, that was on the 16th or on the 18th of October of 2016, a year later. So I get back to Boulder, and I'm not there for very long. I'm outside the fucking Starbucks, and I got to deal with people coming up and saying, "I heard you stalked some girl in Virginia. I heard you were stalking some girl in Virginia. I heard you stalked some little girl in Virginia." And that's how it started out. It was just a stalking. That was the only part of the rumor that I was having to deal with at that point. And then I'm asking who it is that said this. Some of these people are, I mean, these are people that I do know. I do know them by face, but I don't know their names. These are all the little kids that I've been running off for years. Get the fuck out of here, little kids. This ain't the life for you. This ain't the life that you want. You're glorifying the homeless fucking lifestyle. And the fact is that it's not a life choice for most of us. There's nothing glorious about getting hunted like you're an animal by the police. There's nothing glorious about being hated by the public, having to deal with their bias, having your shit stolen all the goddamn time, having to depend on undependable people, having people treat you like you're a junkie, despite the fact that most of the junkies that I knew when I was homeless were in houses. And I knew more homeless people than people in houses. So, really, you might want to put that into perspective. So, I think that first day I got shoved and pushed a couple times. It was just, I think on that first day it was just one dude, but it was enough to make me feel uncomfortable. And I, voiced what was going on to a couple of people that I knew in Boulder. And they're like, dude, they didn't have time for the whole story. They only had 5 minutes. They were glad to see me, gave me a hug. I haven't seen you forever, basic shit. And I'm trying to explain to them what's going on. And they're like, well, dude, you just gotta fucking lay low for a while and let it fucking blow over. So I laid low for a while and went back to Chapel, Nebraska. Well, that fucking sucked. I was able to get into low income at the north end of town because Brenda Dickinson and a few other people had come together to actually help me how I needed. The help that I had been trying to get for years and years and been denied because I'm intelligent, denied because I had to go in by myself, denied because people just simply don't understand. They think they know about autism, but they don't. So I got my housing, and I was pretty fucking happy about that. The problem is the people who had gotten helped me get my housing. I mean, Brenda Dickinson, she's always in pain because of rheumatoid arthritis. Her brain doesn't look right because the medications that she takes for her rheumatoid arthritis. She's like, yeah, these are like, Schedule 4 drugs that they're giving me, and I don't want to take them because they fuck up my head. But she talks nonstop negatively, and every so often she stops and says, "I need to stop talking so negatively in Jesus' name." And then 2 minutes later, right back to it. It's kind of like trying to get help from a meth head, except these are prescription drugs. Which, by the way, if you give your children Ritalin, you are giving your children methamphetamine. If the schools say that your kids need to take Ritalin, you explain to them that they're not fucking doctors. And then you sue the shit out of them for malpractice. So, yeah, I was in Chapel, Nebraska, and at this point, I'm having people that are harassing me on the internet over it. I'm not happy about this. I just want to go hang out with positive people like I used to. Aunt B is not positive. That's Brenda Dickinson, you know. Who else do I have to go see that's friends with me in Chapel, Nebraska? Pretty much everyone I knew that I went to high school with done moved. Most of my friends done moved, or they're fucking strung out on meth. I don't want to hang out with meth heads. So it got to the point where well, in November, um, I'd already gone through some shit in Boulder. So I unblocked Natalie and Alicia to apologize and fucking say I'm sorry and, be real civil about it. And I was very civil about it. And they both blocked me, which, all right, fine. I'll have to find an alternate route. Seeing my loved ones is important, and I've been cut off for shit that I didn't fucking do. I didn't threaten Natalie's family. Well, January, I made a trip to Colorado. Fucking had to deal with assaults and bullshit. I'm hoping they start getting better too. I'm also hoping I get to finish my story, which is difficult. The more stressed out I am, the more difficult it is for me to communicate effectively. If I'm extremely stressed out, I forget to put I or you or we at the beginning of a sentence, and then it comes down to speculation about what the hell I'm talking about. And that makes it complicated to communicate as well. I fucking hate texting. Hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. Now, I knew that if anything happened to Natalie, that I was going to get blamed. So I kept that fucking phone. That HTC busted phone that after a month didn't work anymore. I kept it because it was full of fucking evidence. It shows how fucked up that goddamn phone is. How it wouldn't fucking work no matter what. How there wasn't a goddamn thing I could do about it. Now, the other thing is that through this scenario, I can see how other people are going to perceive it. I'm not a fucking moron. I've dealt with enough shitty situations with other people to know, yeah, they're probably going to take it this way. If she's not, her mom's probably taking it that way. So it's not like I didn't see that coming. And I knew that she was very high risk, and, especially after the Tim Beeson shit. Like, yeah, she's back in contact with Tim Beeson. Would that not scare the shit out of you? Here's a high risk individual who tried the puppy trick, fucking held her down to the ground and was screaming in her face, had been fucking her since she was 14. And this dude fucking wants to get a hold of me. Now let's get into how that scenario happened. Well, every time that I went to Boulder and got assaulted, I got a hold of Natalie to try to get a stop to this shit. Now, there's 6 days that I messaged back and forth between me and Natalie. Grand total in that time. 6 days. I was assaulted, something that I would consider assault, 7 times before Natalie died over that situation. People calling me a child molester and a rapist, telling me that Maddie Boa said, Maddie said, Maddie said, Maddie said. Maddie wasn't fucking there. Maddie stopped being my friend over slander already. And now you're treating me like shit because now Maddie's spreading that slander. I can't see my brother. I can't see my loved ones. I can't see the positive people in my life without being threatened, harassed, followed. All that creepy shit that you want to pretend like I did to Natalie. People are actually doing those things to me. Now, my first run-in with law enforcement about this situation was on January 8th, 2017. What happened there? I was extremely suicidal. I'd been in my house for days, or in my apartment up there for days and days and days. And I'd gone down to Colorado to see some friends, fucking been assaulted. Came back to Chapel, Nebraska, and people told me, you just gotta let it calm down, cool down a bit. I left here so that it would calm down and cool down a bit, and I came back, and the rumors are worse. Now I didn't stalk Natalie. Now I threatened her family and raped her and fucking molested her, and she was underage and fucking all this other shit. I'm like, no. Natalie was an 18-year-old. That's an adult. She's capable of making her own decisions on who she can and cannot be friends with. It's none of her mother's goddamn business. And that's probably why she didn't tell her mother, especially with as shitty as her fucking family was treating her at that point. Mind you, her mother is an addict herself. So, I go to see Amy and Andrew Witcher. While I'm there, I'm really missing my older brother, and I'm missing Mobley, and I'm missing Flannery, and I'm missing a lot of people. They all live in Boulder. Every one of these people, they live in Boulder. There's a few stragglers in Longmont, and some of them are travelers, so they're all over the place, like Sage in Chicago and Ed Simmons in Daytona. I think it's Daytona. I don't know. And Brett Roloff there in North Carolina at the time, and a lot of people, and travelers go all over the place. They travel. Big difference between a traveler and a home bum. Home bum, he picks a spot he likes and he stays there, sometimes for life. Some of those homeless people in Boulder have been homeless over 20 years in Boulder. Most of them have applied repeatedly for housing. Most of them are disabled. Most of them still try to improve the community, despite the fact the community hates broke people and unsightly people and people who are not good looking. They're not people in Boulder. They're animals that must be driven off. That's the mentality we deal with. So, well, I'm at Amy and Andrews, and I'm wanting to go to Boulder. And Amy, she's telling me about, now mind you, I already know about Andrew's fucking meth addiction. And Amy knows about it too. She's just pretending that that's not what it is because she's in love with this meth addict. Well, I can get that to some degree. Casey Smith thought she was in love with that meth addict too. Brock had to feed Andrew meth in order to get Andrew to even go to work. And that was way back when fucking him and Amy first met each other. I mean, he's been addicted to meth since before they met, and then it's a fucked up situation, but I guess we're not quite at the fucked up situation that happens later. We're at the point where I've gone to visit them, and I'm hopefully on my way to go see my older brother. And Andrew, he's fucking. They're giving me this story about how they checked all the crawl spaces and everything because, they had found some meth in the house. Amy had found some meth in the house. So Andrew went through all the crawl spaces to make sure that there wasn't any drugs in them because he's pretty fucking skinny. He used to be fat, but he got really skinny when he started hitting the fucking pipe. So Amy, Andrew, Amy is up his ass all the time. Like fucking, she's infatuated with him, stalker infatuated, which is why when he molested her daughter, she fucking kept Andrew and fucking believed Andrew over her daughter. She's gonna find out later in life what kind of an effect that had on her daughter. So Andrew, at this point, he just needs Amy to give him fucking a little bit of space, just a little bit of fucking space. He's fucking stressed out, and the more stressed out he is, the more he wants to use them drugs, just like Natalie. The more they accused her of being on drugs, the more they blamed everything on drugs, the more she wanted to use. So Andrew, he's smoking weed too, and so does Amy. They're potheads. A lot of people are. You'd be surprised. And on there, I texted Natalie to try to get a stop put to this. I want to say this is. I don't know. It's a few months in. It's before I moved to Ken and Livingston, and it was actually before I was having problems with Tim Beeson. I mean, at this point, all of the rumors that I'm being assaulted by are rumors that came from Maddie Boa, not from Natalie or Alicia. All right, they already pulled their slander, and now Maddie Boa is doing her thing. She's already done this to several men already, including Brian Townsend. Where she goes spreading around the rape rumors and the molestation rumors and shit like that. I'm not the only person Maddie Bow put through this. Um, so I'm at Amy and Andrews, and Andrew just left. He just ran away, and I'm arguing. I'm not trying to have an argument. I'm trying to be as nice as I can to Natalie. I need her to put a stop to this. I need to be able to see my loved ones. At least she said all I needed was love, and she was right. But that slander was preventing me from seeing my loved ones. I needed Maddie Boa to tell those people to stop. If Maddie Boa wasn't going to do anything about it, and she had shown by that point that she wasn't interested, then I needed Natalie to tell Maddie the truth and ask Maddie to put a stop to it. I mean, these are Maddie's fucking meth customers that are doing this shit. In specific, Maddie Boa's meth customers. Holy fuck, that was crazy. And I'm not having problems with many other people at this point. No, Griffo the Great. This destroyed every part of my life. Every part of it. Every friendship, every relationship, all of it. Destroyed my ability to defend myself. It destroyed my credibility right from the start. The moment somebody calls you a child molester or rapist, nobody's in your corner. In order for them to be in your corner, they have to be able to stand next to you and speak up. They don't want to do that when there's rumors about you committing heinous crimes. Train! All right, so choo choo. So the boy used to say choo choo and the train would come by this very train on these tracks. And he was still in diapers at the time. And that's my favorite memory ever is when he would hear the choo choo and yeah, pick him up and put him on the couch. He'd stare out the window at the trailer house over there, about 2, 3 blocks over, 2 blocks over. Just on the other side of the old Leprinos building. It's the recycling center now, or the city building. That's where Todd Rust works. Where was I at? I should tell the story of Jamie too. That's pretty important. But that was all before I ever met Natalie. But it helps set the tone for the story, especially here in Chapel, Nebraska. Oh, this guy calls himself FBI. You're still on our watch list, buddy. The FBI is on my watch list. They took part in this. An obstruction of justice. They took part in omitting evidence, destroying evidence. Department cruelty. The FBI can suck my dick. Anyway, so can Dual County Police Department. So Andrew's got a little bit of weed in his pocket, and he got it from Amy, and he's needing to go for a walk. At that point, I understood. It's not crack, bitch. It's tobacco. You see this thing right here? It's empty. That's what's going into my tobacco pipe. Fucking moron. So, where was I at? Amy and Andrews. So, Andrews got Amy convinced that there's got to be a meth head living in their crawl space because they keep finding new meth stuff and it's not his. Meanwhile, she knows where the meth house is. Why does she know where the meth house is? Yes, Griffo the Great, I do smoke weed upon occasion. When I am alone, I do not. It doesn't help. It only helps in social situations because of social anxiety disorder. If I'm around positive people, there's no need for me to smoke weed. If I'm around stressful people who are constantly fucking negative, constantly asshole, constantly bitching about everybody but themselves, yeah, I gotta get stoned as fuck if I gotta deal with those assholes. I don't like being stoned. I don't like being medicated. I don't like being stoned. You know why? Because I like having my fucking brain. I like being able to think. I like being able to function. When I'm stoned, I'm not functional. I'm tolerable, and other people who are assholes, I can tolerate them when I'm stoned. It doesn't separate me from reality, but as far as my Asperger's go, I pick up on everything. When I'm stoned, I don't pick up on everything anymore. So Andrew leaves, and Amy, she's very obsessive about Andrew. So she calls 911 and says Andrew is gonna try to kill himself or some crazy shit like that. No, he's going to his fucking meth dealer. He doesn't make it to his meth dealer though. Instead, he gets pulled over with Amy's weed in his pocket by the police. They bring him home with a ticket for his marijuana and paraphernalia. He didn't make it to the fucking meth house. I shouldn't call it a crack house because it is a meth house. We'll allow Mr. FBI to continue his screwballing here. While I'm there, I'm dealing with this with Amy and Andrew and the cops. Meanwhile, I'm also trying to message Natalie because I'm getting ready to go try to see my family, and I need to be able to go and see my older brother and my loved ones in Boulder, where I get my positivity from, because Amy's not positive. Andrew's not positive. Brenda Dickinson's not positive. I mean, going over there just makes me want to fucking eat a bullet even more. So, Andrew has my bow. So I trade one of those tattoo machines that I had for my bow back. It's actually about $1,000 bow. Ken and Leah have that down there. That's one of the things they stole from me. Anything of value they hid from me behind an artificial wall. How fucked up is that? Here's this dude wants to pretend he's the FBI, typing crazy, watching a killer on a live stream. Dude, you should pay attention to the fact that Joseph Michael Lopez is in prison for killing Natalie. He's in prison for it. Maybe you should try to find out the whole situation before. Well, what you're doing right now is impersonating an FBI officer. Matter of fact, I'm going to call that in right now. Not that they'll do anything, but we'll give it an effort. See, here's the thing about it, ignoring them. That mentality is what people in real life are harming you over. And yeah, I know he's a troll, but he's also impersonating an officer. He's impersonating a federal agent. That's, I believe, 8 years minimum. You want to serve 8 years for impersonating an FBI agent? Matter of fact, I'm going to take a picture of this. I'll give him a call next video. I suppose I should get back to Amy and Andrews. So while I'm at Amy and Andrews, this is the first time I curse. This is the first time I ever cursed Natalie. I was being assaulted over crimes that I didn't commit. She didn't care. So I called her a cunt. And if you notice, when I call somebody a cunt, you have to fit specific criteria to get called that name. You have to either harm an innocent person, or you have to slander someone that results in them being harmed. Most people are cunts. Selfish, uncaring cunts who only pretend when they want something. Life's grand, ain't it? So, she blocks me, of course, which par for the course. At that point, I realized that I really need actual legal action. I need someone to actually fight for my rights. At this point, I'm already in contact with the lady who ended up leaving her job. Her name is Tamara. She worked with Region 1. And I want to mention, by the way, that, again, Jen Beebe didn't call me back. It's only been 5 months. Fuck it, right? Jen Beebe works for Region 1. The difference between Jen Beebe is she has no formal training and no understanding of autism. Whereas Tamara completely understood. The help that I needed, Tamara was helping me to get. She was helping me to get everything set up to get my disability, to, get all of my diagnosis stuff all together in one place, to, get the ball rolling so that I could take, literally at this point, get the ball rolling and take Natalie and Alicia to court. At this point, I've already spoken with officers in Chapel about what's going on and been blown off. By this point, the only reason that I was even hooked up with Region 1 and with Nicole Peralta is because on January 8th of 2017, the police had come down and picked me up. There is documentation of that because they did take me to the hospital. And because of that hospital visit, I was able to get hooked up with Nicole Peralta and with Region 1, Tamara. And Tamara did more help than anyone else before or since to actually help. See, lots of people have ideas of what'll help, but it just doesn't. The situation that you have your one magic saying that fixes everything. Well, that magic saying doesn't fix everything. There are a lot of situations where that's just not going to work. The FBI didn't do shit. They're a bunch of bitches. Mr. FBI over here trolling. So, really, at this point, I really just want to be left the fuck alone. I want to be able to see my loved ones without being threatened, harassed, or assaulted. I have no support network at this point except for Tamara, Nicole, and myself. That's my support network. Brenda Dickinson is too negative and too fucked up on her rheumatoid arthritis medications to fuck. It drove me nuts just seeing her in that condition. So I leave and I go to Boulder and I'm supposed to. I run into Pier while I'm in Boulder, and it's pretty late at night, and I haven't been seen on by anybody who's an asshole yet, And Pier comes by, and I start telling him what was going on, why I haven't been in Boulder in fucking almost 2 years, and that I need help. There's some fucked up shit with Natalie and Alicia and Maddie, and I need his help. Insists that I take his jacket, despite the fact that I don't need it. So I take it. No, I don't shower daily. The last shower that I had was yesterday. Or, well, it's 1:14 in the morning, so the day before yesterday. Usually I shower daily, but I might go 2 or 3 days without showering if I'm real busy or if I'm doing something stinky and there's no reason for me to go shower because I literally have to come right back doing stuff that's stinky. Makes sense. So, lo and behold, um, Pierre tells me that he's going to meet me. Um, by the way, if you guys want to complain about this big cheese, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. So, where was I at? I'm sorry. Every time I look over at that thing and stuff, this fucking moron is typing it derails my train of thought. Just like most of those videos that I'm trying to make where you can hear people screaming in the background, just immediately that my communication is immediately impaired. My ability to communicate is immediately impaired. My ability to put words together are immediately impaired because at that point I'm stressed out. At that point, yeah, it's not coming together right because I'm stressed about people screaming in the background. So Pierre, the next day, he's supposed to meet me at the Starbucks on University and Broadway. This is where I was sitting when I started that picture for Natalie, the one that I sent her before I went. It's a picture of Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. So Pierre's supposed to come see me, and there's a couple of Matty Bo's customers outside the window. So, you're good, Griff. Oh, it's more FBI bitch over here. But, as he's typing this fucking retarded shit, it gives me the option of showing it or hiding it. I'll show it. And Pierre doesn't show up. He's supposed to meet me at 9. He doesn't get a hold of me until 3 days later. 3 days later, he finally gets a hold of me and fucking treats me like shit because he didn't show up. Well, fuck you. Fuck you, Pierre. Fuck you. You don't get to treat me like shit because you didn't keep your fucking word. So those two fucking meth heads, they hung out outside of Starbucks for 2 hours, I guess. And they did eventually leave. I did have to deal with more assaults, more threats, and more harassment. But Pierre never showed up. He never bothered to find out what was going on. He treated me like shit for saying something. And then there's also incredibly gay Ryan, is what he called himself, but it was just Ryan. And well, same thing with him. I needed to be able to see my loved ones in person. And Ryan, yeah, he's one of my loved ones. No, I'm not gay. Turns out he's not gay. He was just pretending to be gay to try to get women. That's fucking crazy. And yes, I have that in screenshots and text messages too. Um, Including some pretty embarrassing stuff. So I'll give that to you all to yourself. Anyway, we'll get back to the story. So Pierre doesn't show up, and there's about 40 people overall who do shit like this. Some of them saying that they'll help me and they're my friend, and then 3 days later, after ignoring me for 3 days, they get back a hold of me to tell me to go fucking kill myself. What a bunch of sweeties. Oh yeah, these are real friends, ain't they? So at this point, I was desperate. Um, while I was there for that trip, I had people harass me and had people threaten me. I don't think I actually got assaulted on that particular occasion. I did get assaulted by those two crackheads, not far from that Starbucks, but I don't remember if it was that trip or if it was another trip, because there was a couple of people that were going to meet me there and just keep their word, like Maverick Constantine. So, thank you. I'm fucking adorable, Mr. FBI. So, I suppose since this one's an hour and 38 minutes, I should probably shut it down. Um, by this point, I'd already gone to see Derek and JoJo to try to get help, and Derek was a complete and total fucking douche for the entire time I was there. I couldn't get anything done except getting yelled at by Derek. And he wanted to fight. He wanted to take it out on somebody. That him and his girlfriend had a disagreement, and I was an easy scapegoat because he's got to live with her. Shit, what a fucking mess. But she's promising to help me, And she wanted a hammer for self-defense, so I blacksmithed her a hammer. That was my excuse to go see them. to try to explain to him what was going on. I didn't get to explain to him what was going on. Obviously, I was busy getting screamed at and later ultimately assaulted. That's neither here or there. Um, while I was there, though, both JoJo and Janine, who died, but Janine is his mom, both of them told him to stop. Derek, you need to stop. All right, we've had 2 days of this already. Derek, you need to let it go. Derek wouldn't let it go. Just like these meth heads wouldn't let it go. Just like Maddie Boa wouldn't let it go. And I messaged Maddie Boa to offer her my vehicle if she would fucking kill me. I messaged a lot of people to kill me. Make sure we take a picture of this one too. So, and mind you, I got pulled over by the cops that when I went to go see him too. This channel is not for children, Mr. FBI, who's only 13, who's not a little kid. Fucking trolls. So, you notice I keep getting distracted by that on the side. Like I explained at the beginning of the video. You guys get to see a whole bunch of it, don't you? I'm sorry about that. So it's been a few months of this. Tamara, she quit her job, but she made sure that she got all the paperwork in ahead of time in order to make sure that I got my disability. She was pretty badass. You're right. At least I am laughing at something, Zolis. So, I basically got crackheads and meth heads to go to for help. A bunch of addicts. But they're helping more than the police are for damn sure. Um, so my low income up there, it was $50 a month when I didn't have disability, and it went up to 207 a month when I got my disability. And around that time, Ken was telling me about how Leah's daughter Andrea had gotten run over by a truck and how she's always depressed and how he's always depressed and he wants somebody to be there so that his wife doesn't fucking kill herself while he's at work. I'm getting ready to go down there and see him when who but Tim Beeson starts getting a hold of me. Now, by this point, I've had some dude claiming that he's Natalie's boyfriend and he's with a fucking bike gang and they're gonna fucking lynch me and they're gonna fucking kill my entire fucking family and all this fucking shit. I didn't know how to record that shit. It finally got to the point where he was text messaging me. And that was the day that I was going to leave to go move down to Ken and Leah's. And I ended up paying two rents. I was paying rent up here, and I wanted to make sure that I made it all the way through the full year so that it would improve my credit. And after a year, then, a year of living at low income, at least my credit's better, right? You think. Just a fucked up scenario for damn sure. But at least at Ken and Leah's, I could be close enough to see my loved ones, even if I couldn't actually go to Boulder. And Bailey Beers and OSHA Hibden, I got to rescue both of them through Ken and Leah's house. I don't need a fan, okay. I don't want fans. I need help. We need help. It's not just my rights being violated. I'm not sure if you noticed that black people aren't being treated that well right now. Immigrants aren't being treated that well right now. Native Americans aren't being treated that well right now. Homeless people are not being treated that well right now. I don't need a fan. I need help. The FBI ain't gonna do shit. They're bitches. There's over 100 phone calls, possibly close to 200 phone calls between myself and the FBI on this very YouTube. Speak out, get the word out, spread it. Speak out on Facebook. Speak out on YouTube. Write letters to your congressman. I'm aware that I'm white. Because I'm white, I can't care about other people. Because I'm white, I'm only allowed to care about white people. Is that what you're trying to insinuate? Okay, okay. FBI, you and I have something in common. I wouldn't say it's a real hatred for the people themselves, but for their mentality. It's not the white man that kills, but the white mentality. Write that down. So, I've already spoken to the cops a couple times in chapel about the situation by this point. This guy's spreading hate. I wonder if we can get him banned for hate crimes for posting that. I'm sorry I keep getting distracted, folks. I'm actually going to end the video now, and I do apologize.